You ever have one of those moments where you realize just all at once that the world sees you as a problem and you don't even know what you did wrong? Yeah, that happened to me at Gate 24, LAX, on a muggy Tuesday when I was just trying to board first class. Ma'am, she can't board first class speaking like that. I remember freezing mid-step, boarding pass in my hand, my name Melody Sinclair printed right there. You'd think that'd be enough, but no, the agent in the red scarf didn't even look at my ticket. She looked at me, lips pinched tight like she'd bitten into something sour. She just said bonjour and pardon to me, like we're boarding Air France. That's not an American accent, little girl. Who coached her? That's what she said, right to my face, loud enough for everyone in line to turn around. My mom, Irene, stepped forward, her face calm, but that muscle in her jaw twitching. She didn't coach anything. That's just how she speaks, she said, voice like steel. She's bilingual. Agent smirked. That's cute, but we don't have time for games. I need a parent or guardian at the counter. Real documents. This doesn't look legit. The heat in my cheeks was unreal. You know that feeling, right? Like you want to disappear, but you're stuck, everyone watching. No way out. My accent wasn't fake. It was mine. I spent half my life in Raleigh, half trailing behind my mom at a French research station in Martinique. It wasn't a show. But right then, I could feel myself shrinking. People started whispering. I heard a guy behind us say, probably some scam. Irene handed over my passport and ID. She's American, born in Raleigh, top of her class, speaks French, Spanish, a little Mandarin. You want a blood test too? But the agent barely glanced at the documents. She just leaned in and said, she sure doesn't sound like she belongs in first class. I bit down hard so my lip wouldn't tremble, refused to give them the satisfaction. Silence hurt more than any of the words. Back at the gate, Irene held my hand. I just stared at the floor. What did she mean? Do I sound wrong? I whispered. No, honey. You sound like someone who's been exposed to the world. That's power. Don't let someone small make you feel smaller, Irene said, but honestly I wasn't convinced. We boarded. The agent, suddenly all smiles since a supervisor had stepped in, chirped, "Oh, you made it after all. I guess little Miss Fancy Voice can fly first." I kept my head down, took my seat. Across the aisle, a white boy, messy hair, chugging Sprite, feet on the seat, loud as a parade. Nobody batted an eye. But me, because I said bonjour, I was an imposter. The injustice hit hard, not even with anger, just cold. Like this wasn't about me. Not really. It was about systems that pretended to be fair. Maybe those needed a little shaking. I stared out the window, lines of code building in my head. Not revenge. All feeks. Something to force airlines to treat accents like mine with the dignity they deserve. That night, somewhere over the Rockies, I opened my laptop and logged into the beta portal of the Skyskin Ethics Index, a platform I co-developed with my mom before she died. Back-end access to crew data, real-time compliance. At 9:17 a.m. Pacific, I added a name, Chloe Patterson. Within 15 minutes, a clip of me sitting at a vending machine, lips pressed tight, flashed red on my Skyskin wristband. Just once. Someone caught it on their phone. TikTok caught fire. The comments came, "That's not fear. That's control. Is that Elodie Sinclair? She looks like her mother." Then the hashtags Gate 24, Elodie speaks, Sky silenced. People weren't outraged. They were awed. Reddit threads with timestamp analyses, 4K zooms of Chloe's smirk. Even a Sky Nova Slack message leaked, shut it down. Sinclair kids involved. I didn't post, didn't retweet, didn't call for justice. I just watched. Back in Boston, the alert flashed at Coleman Global's H-Level 2 protocol. Harold Min, VP, just stared coffee cold. FAA sent a formal notice. PR teams panicked. But what hit hardest was the quiet. The agent who mocked my voice pulled off duty, badge gone. But that didn't fix anything. It was bigger than one mean gate agent. Within hours, Delta Sky stock dipped almost 12%. Institutional investors freaked out. CNN and MSNBC ran segments. By sunset, Gate 24 was a ghost town. Chloe Patterson, clutching a manila envelope, stood alone waiting for security, her phone blowing up with notifications, her face, her voice, her words everywhere. comment after comment. She mocked a kid for her accent. She said, "You don't belong in first class." She called a Sinclair a glitch. It was too late. At home, I wrote in my mom's old notebook, "You don't need to raise your voice to be heard. You just need to speak through the right system." Irene posted that quote anonymously. It went viral. On protest signs, spoken word poetry, even tattoos. By midnight, my name wasn't trending as a victim. It was trending for flipping the system. Within a week, the FAA's Civilian Ethics Board invited me to testify. At the airport, I wore my mom's navy blazer sleeves too long, button loose. Naomi Sinclair, my aunt, was there, stern but kind. Around the table, legal advisors, compliance officers, equity monitors. They asked, "Who triggered the override?" I raised my hand. I did. Someone asked, "On what authority?" I slid my wristband across the table. Legacy biometric clearance. Helena Sinclair, level 1L. Naomi nodded. Valid. I co-wrote that clause. The room buzzed. "What was your intention?" someone asked. I said, "I didn't want to punish anyone. I just didn't want it to happen again." That landed harder than any speech. When I left, a federal protocol assistant led us out the back, past the spot on the floor where Chloe had mocked me. No press scrum, just a quiet ride home. The story exploded anyway. The passenger ethics accorded me mom's draft, Naomi's signature. My activation became federal law. Airlines scrambled. Iskay Nova Tunket. But this wasn't about PR. It was about power, quiet, irreversible. The system went live, silent, with a scheduled code update. Next morning, SkyNova's compliance score turned red. 5 regional airports dropped them. Booking sites blacklisted them. The fallout was relentless. Not thunderclap avalanche. But you know what? Nobody blamed me. My name wasn't even in the index. It was all legacy override, Sinclair compliance. At home, Irene tried to keep things normal. Oatmeal for breakfast. I barely ate. "I don't think Mom meant for it to go this far," I said. "She meant for it to work," Irene said. "Now it does." SkyNova was forced to submit an ethics remediation plan reviewed by Naomi. For the first time, airline execs answered to a kid's silence and her mother's system. At a policy roundtable, someone asked, should minors have the right to activate aviation compliance triggers? Someone shot back, should adults have the right to ridicule a child for how she speaks? That clip went viral. A package arrived at our door. SkyNova's official letter of compliance. At the bottom, silver seal, approved by the Skyscan Index, ethics score compliant. Addressed to me. I didn't smile, didn't cry. Just whispered about time. Later, Naomi called. 4 more airlines applying to join the accord this month. This is moving fast. I said, it's not about speed. It's about staying watched. A month later, at the Air Ethics Summit in D.C., I watched as CEOs squirmed in their seats. The Passenger Ethics Accord went to a vote signed by 9 airlines, binding federal standard. The moment the Fairness Index went live, 3 airlines turned red on the compliance screening compliant. FAA initiated partial suspensions. The system finally had teeth. But the best part? It wasn't about me, or my name, or some headline. It was the small moments, the new plaque at Gate 24, the laminated card at the counter that read, "All guests deserve dignity." Ask, listen, respect. The mother who messaged Irene, "My daughter stutters." Your girl made her feel powerful. Schools taught my story. Airline HR rolled out accent equity training. Compliments outnumbered complaints. One day, Naomi asked what to name the AI that now powered the cabin interface in every ethics-certified terminal. I said, name it Irene. My mom would have liked that. Sometimes when I walk through an airport now, I see kids bored without fear. Some use sign language. Some whisper. Some just pause longer than others. Nobody rushes them. Nobody rolls their eyes. And I realize maybe that's what justice sounds like: quiet, but impossible to ignore. If you made it this far, you tell me, would you have done at Gate 24? Would you have spoken up or stayed silent? What does justice look like where you live? Because sometimes you don't need to shout to be heard. Sometimes the system just needs to listen.